Hello everyone. In the previous video we have understood some of the basics of GST registration. Today we will take a further look into the procedures for GST registration, and also I have received some of the questions. I will try to answer those questions on GST registration. About the registration process, friends, you need to provide to the GST1 portal your PAN number, mobile number, email ID. From the CBT database, your PAN number and other things will be verified, and one-time password will be allotted to you, on the basis of which you can fill up Part B of REG1 form for registration under GST. Once all these things are filed, then they will give you an acknowledgement for application for GST registration. Within 3 working days, either your registration will be accepted or a correction memo will be given to you. In the correction memo, they will ask for some of the clarifications of the data you have uploaded. If a correction memo is issued to you, within 7 working days you are required to answer those things or those clarifications, whatever are asked by the officer. Once you are giving the answer, then within 7 working days from the date on which you have given the answers, either your registration will be accepted or it will be rejected. So normally the time period is within 3 working days you will get your registration certificate if there is no clarification required by the officer. Friends, about the advance deposit, under GST registration you are not required to pay any advance deposit, except in a case if you are a casual taxable person or a non-resident taxable person. We will come to casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person later on. That means if today in Gujarat, if you are taking a VAT registration, you are required to pay 25,000 rupees advance tax, 10,000 rupees deposit, 10,000 deposit for CST. All these kind of things are not required to be paid. No advance deposit and you will be granted a certificate of registration. For a casual taxable person and a non-resident taxable person, they are saying under section 25 that you are required to make an application 5 days prior to the date of commencement of business. That means you can start the business only after getting the certificate of registration. Further, you are required to estimate your tax liability for a period during which your registration has been granted, and you are required to make an advance deposit. So advance deposit is applicable for casual taxable person and non-resident taxable person. Further, friends, about cancellation of registration, your registration can be cancelled in certain situations. Cancellation provisions are given in section 29 of the CGST, SGST Act and UTGST Act. Under this section 29, they are saying either cancellation can be done suo motu by the officer after providing an opportunity of being heard to you, or you can also apply for cancellation of the registration. For example, let's say you have ceased to do the business. So if you have ceased doing the business, then also you can apply for cancellation of the registration. Let's say your aggregate turnover is below 20 lakhs rupees. So you are falling below the threshold limit prescribed under section 22. Or section 24 is also now not applicable to you. In that situation also you can apply for cancellation of the registration. Once a registration is cancelled, you are required to file within 3 months from the date of cancellation a final return, in which you will show all the tax liability has been properly paid. Cancellation can also be done by the officer. In which situation this can be done? Let's say you contravene any of the provisions of this act, then cancellation proceedings can be commenced. Let's say you are covered under section 10 of the GST Act, which talks about the composition scheme. That means you are paying the tax under composition, and for a continuous period of 3 tax periods. That means every 3 months you are required to file the return. You are not filing return for the consecutive 3 tax periods. Then also your number can be cancelled. If you are not covered into section 10 and you are required to file monthly return, and if you have not filed the monthly return for a continuous period of 6 months, then also your number can be cancelled. The number cancellation will be done only after giving an opportunity of being heard to you. So they will ask you why your number should not be cancelled, and then after your number will be cancelled. One more condition is there, or one more scenario is there in which your number can be cancelled. Let's say you have applied for voluntary registration under section 25 subsection 3. That means you are not covered under section 22, you are not covered under section 24, still you have applied for registration. And within 6 months from the date of registration, you have not commenced your business, then also your registration number can be cancelled. Or let's say you have obtained the registration by means of fraud, willful misstatement, suppression of fact, etc. Then also your number can be cancelled. But the cancellation will be done only after giving an opportunity of being heard to you. So this was section 29 about cancellation of registration. There is section 30 which is about revocation of the cancelled registration. What happens is, once your registration has been cancelled, within 30 days from the date of cancellation, you can apply for revocation of the cancellation. And let's say your application is justified. In that situation, the officer will revoke the cancellation. That means it will be assumed that your registration was never cancelled. You can again do the business on the same registration number. They can also reject the application for revocation of the cancellation. But before rejecting that application also, they are required to provide you an opportunity of being heard. So this was more or less the basic scenario about the registration from section 22 to section 30. So section 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 cancellation and 30 revocation. These are the sections which talks about the registration. Now few questions are asked, so I will try to answer those questions. One person is asking that his turnover at present is 8 lakh rupees. So he is liable to take VAT registration and he has obtained the VAT registration. But he is expecting that his turnover under GST will not be more than 20 lakhs rupees. So is it mandatory for him to migrate to GST? Then friends, the answer is, as per section 22 subsection 2, anyone who is having a license or registration under the present law are required to take registration under GST. So yes, you are required to migrate to GST, and then after, if you feel that your turnover is not going to exceed 20 lakhs rupees, then you can apply for cancellation of the GST registration number. Second question is asked that my main head office is in Ahmedabad and there is a branch in Rajasthan, and we are providing taxable goods from both these places. So can I take a single registration in my head office in Gujarat, that is at Ahmedabad, or I am also required to take registration in Rajasthan? Friends, as I told you, if you are supplying goods from different states, then compulsorily you are required to take different registration. Registration number will be 15-digit registration number. First 2 digits will be the state code, then after 10 digits will be your PAN, further 2 digits will be the entity code, and last will be the checksum. So state wise you are required to take different registration. No single registration will be applicable. Now third question asked is that turnover of my business is 30 lakhs rupees, and in Gujarat right now I am making the payment of VAT under the composition scheme. So is the composition scheme applicable to me under GST also? Under GST, friends, as per section 10, if the aggregate turnover during the preceding financial year does not exceed 75 lakhs, earlier they were talking about 50 lakhs, recently they have increased the limit to 75 lakhs, then you can go for composition scheme. Under composition, for manufacturers you are required to pay 2%, for traders you are required to pay 1%, and for restaurant services you are required to pay 5% tax. So yes, very well, you can go for composition scheme. Then friends, another question is also asked that I am doing business only in Gujarat. I have 3 branches, one at Vadodara, other at Ahmedabad, and third at Surat. So do I need to take registration of all these branches differently? Then friends, if you verify section 25, it clearly says that within the state you are not required to take different registrations for different branches. But if these different branches are considered as different business verticals, that means the risk and returns are different, products are different, and you are going for different registration, it is also allowed. So business vertical wise also you can take different registration within the state. But what will the consequence if you are taking a different registration for different business verticals? All these business verticals will be considered as different persons. So if you are supplying your goods from Ahmedabad to, let's say, Surat branch, and both are differently registered, then GST will be applicable on this transaction. So it is advisable not to take different registrations if it is not different business verticals for you. you can show it as your additional place of business under one single registration. So these were some of the questions, friends. Thank you very much. Yes friends, I hope that I have been able to solve your queries, some of the queries on GST. If you have any queries, you can just send an email or write an SMS on the numbers and the email ID given in the video description. Thank you very much, friends.